But how does this work with single athlete sports, where you've got one athlete and one coach, perhaps running or golf, some gymnastics as well, is an individual, you might be working within a team in different events, or dance. How does it work with one-to-one sports?
So I really struggled with this one because I coached almost exclusively team sports. I played a few individual sports growing up, but I was a team sport person. And then I started working with US Sailing, and they are, at times, they're individuals that are in a team, but you're really dealing with the individuals. And I've worked with Canadian Golf Association, PGA of Canada, and groups like that. And again, you're working with these individuals. And it was the individual coaches that started to say, because we were actually at, I was actually with a group of multidiscipline coaches from a bunch of different sports. And we were talking about the tool cards, and somebody brought that up. And we were with one of the coaching developers from US Olympic Committee. So Nadine Nabina, who works with all of the Olympic coaches, and she works with team and individuals. And she said, I challenge any coach in this room to use these cards, whether your kid is 5 years old, 35 years old, on a team, or by themselves. These psychological tenets and the pedagogy baked into them will work. And we had a couple individual athlete coaches say it works better. And here's why. These kids forget that they're still part of something bigger than themselves. When they are like that, they're put in the spotlight more, the ego is stroked more, the mistakes become magnified, like all of that. Like you're in the petri dish, you're in the magnifier, right? And they said being able to link it back and talk about culture and development within a team and interaction with your opponent, even like talking about how we interact, like the opponent suddenly becomes a teammate because we're striving together for greatness. And I may beat you today, but you're making me better for tomorrow. And you may beat me today, or I'm sorry, you may beat me today, but you're making me better for tomorrow, or vice versa. They start, you can adjust those behaviors there. And so some of these coaches said it's actually just as effective. And then of course, gymnastics, sailing, equestrian games, all of them somehow, I'm trying to think of the ones that, I don't know if there is one that doesn't. All of them somehow add a team. That's where you can really use the cards. You're out there on your own, but you have to remember that in training, you have teammates that rely on you. And walking around the US Olympic Center back this January, I got to go, and it was the coolest experience ever. And it was watching how these athletes from different countries were all there training. The boxers were all there. So we had England, and they were all there.
Yeah.
And they were all working out, but then they go as a team, as a group. All of the boxers from England, for instance, would sit at dinner together. But then as dinner was finishing, they would start to pan out and go sit with athletes from the other countries.
Nice.
Because again, they're about what's happening beyond the game. If you can get them to use these tools as an individual athlete within a team setting or within a microcosm, then when they go out into the world, they'll use these tools in the world, and then they're better people for it.
That's it, exactly. I think that one of the brilliant things about this material is it doesn't matter really whether it's for youth sport coaches or whether it's for parents or whether it's for marriage or whether it's for the workplace. It is all coming down to the exact same principles, just seen through a different angle. And when you're dealing with those individual sports people, you're dealing with the person. And they're going to go out into their family, and they're going to go into their marriage and into their workplace and into their wider community, and they're going to take it with them.
What's your advice on using these cards with one-on-one athletes?
I would sit down with the athlete with the cards. This is a technique that's used in the parenting courses as well. When you're working with your own child, it's a one-on-one situation. And sometimes you get to a position where you're like, I just plain don't know what to do right now. And the same thing happens in coaching and in sports, because there might be some kind of disconnect, some kind of misunderstanding. It's just really not clear. And so you can connect in that and say, hey, I don't know what's going on here. Do you know what's going on? Should we sit down? Let's have a look through these. And one or two of them are going to ring true, and let's do that. And then that kind of that brings you together in a coaching pair. It puts the ball in their court, but it also allows you to have something else to do. This is something that that I come across quite a lot. It's like, I didn't want to be a jerk. I didn't want to do that, but I didn't know what else to do.
Yes.
Now I have something else to do. And just having that one tool, or those 52 tools, of something else to do in a situation is amazingly freeing for the flipping the lid stress situations. It's like, hold on, I don't have to do this. There's something else I can do. Yeah, so I think that would be my top tip for one-to-one athletes is, hey, as a coach, you don't have to do all the work.
Yes. And that's probably the other question that I'll get sometimes is, I can't take these cards out to the field with me. What do I do? Well, one, I'd love to have an app, but again, you're on your phone. You don't need them, right? Like you said, if there's an issue that pops up, you could say to an athlete, I don't really know how to answer this right now. It's okay to be vulnerable and say to an athlete, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, when practice is over, will you take 2 minutes with me and we'll go over to my bag, we'll go through the cards and we'll find a solution together. How empowering is that? Like you were saying, to be able to sit down, like you just said, with a kid and go through the cards together. My goodness, what are you doing for that kid? They're going to be phenomenal leaders themselves when they grow up. I love that idea.